For the past several years, California Republicans and conservatives have said, I'm not going to vote early. I'm not going to vote by mail. I'm going to vote on election day. Coming up, I'll tell you why you should vote early and why waiting till election day actually hurts our chances of winning seats in California and puts your vote in jeopardy of not being counted. Coming up, the various reasons to vote early in California in 2024. I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California, and I'm going to, in this video, I believe I will convince you, because I've got the receipts, I've got the proof, I'm going to convince you why you need to vote early. You should not be waiting until election day to cast your ballot. It actually is the most risky way to vote in the state of California. Now, let me just start out by saying, as an opener, I absolutely hate the way we have to vote in California. It is absolutely devoid of integrity, and it's not the way you should be conducting an election. I would like to implement voter ID, a requirement that people have to have their citizenship verified before they're put on the voter rolls, cleaning up and maintaining voter rolls, and making sure that people's identity is verified by having a voter ID. I'm not against mail-in ballots, but I really do believe that we ought to make election day a holiday so that nobody has an excuse why they shouldn't be showing up and voting in person. I also want to measure the wait times at polling stations to make sure that no one's having difficulties getting through the line, because long lines suppress the vote. That's the way the system should work, but that's not the system we have. And that's why I need to talk to you about voting early in this election. Oh, I know. You say, I don't want to vote early. I don't trust the Postal Service. Oh, I want to surprise people. Oh, come on. Let me tell you why all of that is actually counterproductive, hurting our movement, and putting your vote in jeopardy. So let me start out first with some basics. In this election, Democrats have a plot, a scheme, a plan to suppress conservative votes. The media does not want to talk about this because I think they're in on it. They're laughing their way to the polling locations, the few that we have left. You see, the Democrats know that you, as a conservative, don't trust mail-in ballots. And I'll tell you in a moment how you absolutely can. There's no problem. The Democrats also know that you like the ritual of showing up on election day. We are very traditional. We remember voting at our local garage or church or social service center. And we like the idea of walking in. Some of us actually get a little, dressed up like we're going to church. We like getting that little sticker on our lapel. We like looking someone right in the eye. We like scaring them with our ID as they say, no, don't show us that. But we like voting in person, and they know it. In fact, the Transparency Foundation, which for full disclosure, I'm on their board. I helped them do this audit. In the 2022 California election, the Transparency Foundation did an audit of the election integrity in California. No surprise, California failed 9 out of 10 of the criteria. Again, I'm not going to cover this report. You can get the full report at electionintegrityca.org, electionintegrityca.org, or just go to thetransparencyfoundation.org and click under reports. But in this report, one of the things that the investigators noted is that California politicians have slashed the number of polling locations throughout the state. And the reason why they've slashed those polling locations is to suppress conservative votes. A 2022 YouGov Economist poll showed that Republican voters prefer to vote on election day. Overwhelmingly, conservative and Republican voters say they want to vote on election day, whereas Democrat voters want to use early votes by absentee. Here is 57% of election day voters are Republican, compared to 33% of absentee early voters that are Republican. 61% of Democrat voters are absentee early voters, compared to 36% who are election day voters. The Democrat politicians know that conservatives wait until election day to vote. And they're trying to make it hard for us to vote by dramatically reducing the number of polling locations available on election day. In fact, in some counties, they've slashed polling locations by about 80%. That's right, 80%. It's 87% slashed in San Diego County, where I am. They slash the polling locations and they tell the media, oh, don't worry, it's because we did mail-in ballots to everybody. Everyone can easily vote by mail, so we don't need as many polling locations. Well, when all the conservatives show up on election day, boom, there's long lines. Boom, low propensity voters say, I'm not going to wait in that line. The longer the line, the harder it is for campaigns like ours at Reform California to boost turnout of low propensity voters at the last minute. And the Democrats know that. They like to bank their votes early, making it harder for us then to turn out our vote on the one day that you have decided to clog up the damn line. And no, I am angry because I want you to open your damn eyes and look at the data and understand that there is actually a scheme going on and that you are falling for it. Now, I know what you're saying is, Carl, I get this, but the only way I can vote and be secure in my ballot is to vote in person. No, it's actually the riskier way to vote. So not only you waiting until election day hurts our ability to turn out our vote by suppressing votes, by having long lines, but it actually is the riskiest way for you to vote. It puts your ballot in jeopardy of not being counted. And I'll explain why. You see, in this election, if you wait until election day in California to cast your ballot, most voters, when they show up, because there are long lines, are told by the poll workers, oh, don't worry, just go ahead and put your ballot in the envelope, because all of you got a mail-in ballot. So what do? You take your mail-in ballot into the polling station, and what you're saying is, I want to vote in person, or I want to surrender the ballot and vote in person. They say, no. Put it in the envelope, sign it, seal it, and put it in this box. If you walk your ballot in on election day and you sign it and you seal it in the envelope and you put it in their box, it's not counted on election day. It's counted dead last. It's treated as a provisional ballot. It's the last thing they count. Why is being counted last a risky move? Well, if they reject your signature, and a lot of ballots have been rejected because of bad signatures, they reject your signature, you may not know in time to fix it, and boom, your ballot is disqualified. You've lost your vote. The integrity of your vote has been compromised because you waited until the last moment, and you didn't know that that's how they deal with those ballots. But now you do. I know some of you are going to say, well, Carl, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the envelope and I'm going to hand it to them as a day of vote. Okay, you can do that. And I've always told people, if you are going to wait until the last minute, which you shouldn't, but if you are going to wait until the last moment to cast your ballot, then show up on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, not on Tuesday, because I'm trying to turn out low propensity voters on Tuesday and you're getting in the way by putting a line in front of them. Show up on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. It's the same feeling as election day because it's a full service polling location. All the polling locations are open Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's no different than election day. Do not put your ballot in the envelope. Do not seal it. Do not sign it. Go in there and say, here's my paper ballot. I want it counted as a paper ballot today. And turn it in. I know a lot of times people will go to polling locations. They'll say, give me the paper ballot and use the computer system. I don't like using the computer system. I like the paper ballot. Thank you very much. But please don't go on election day. I will tell you, waiting till election day is still the riskiest way to vote. And so let me tell you why and how early voting is easier and better for the integrity of your ballot. By voting in the first 72 hours of the election, and I want you to vote in the first 72 hours of the election, you now give yourself a chance to verify that your ballot is received and counted. How do you do that? Well, first and foremost, let me share with you the calendar. See this date, October 3rd? Thursday, October 3rd. That's when ballots are put in the mail across the state of California in every county registrar of voters. That's when they drop them in the mail. Ballots are treated as first-class mail. So you are typically going to get your ballot the next day on Friday, maybe Saturday. At the latest, you're going to get it on Monday. It's treated as first-class mail. So you're going to get a ballot somewhere between the 3rd and the 7th. I've heard that some counties are going to actually drop on the 2nd. It's possible. So you might get your ballot on the 3rd. But these are the dates you're going to get your ballot. See this? 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. What I want you to do is within 72 hours of getting your ballot, I want you to open it up and I want you to vote. How do you vote? Please use the Reform California Plain English Voter Guide. It gives you a plain English description of all statewide ballot measures because you know the politicians are lying to you on the descriptions. They are always putting the false and deceptive and misleading titles on the ballot. Use that voter guide to know easily what you're voting on in simple terms. Plus, the Reform California Plain English Voter Guide contains a list of all local tax increases on the ballot throughout the state of California. We found 470 plus local tax hikes on the ballot hidden behind false and misleading ballot titles. Again, use the ballot guide that we give you, Reform California Plain English Voter Guide. And I'll tell you where you get that in just a minute. On the back of the voter guide, you will find candidates for judge, school board, city council, county board, state assembly, state senate, Congress, all of the local and state and federal candidates on your ballot. We've vetted them. And we've basically given you endorsement recommendations for good candidates. The only candidates we will endorse are candidates who strongly oppose tax increases, support the police, and are in favor of the voice of parents in schools and will support Border Patrol in securing our border. Plain and simple. Those are our top 4 issues for candidate endorsements. And we list the good candidates on your ballot. Where do you get the voter guide? Well, you can go directly to the voter guide at electionguidecalifornia.org. That's electionguidecalifornia.org. Or you can get to it through our main website, reformcalifornia.org. So the first thing I want you to do is vote in the first 72 hours using the plain English voter guide. I know a lot of you will say, but Carl, what if I learn something about a candidate 3 weeks later? Are you going to learn something from swamp creature special interest deceptive mailers? I'm telling you right now, the tricks that the swamp plays late in the game only designed to confuse and deceive voters. No, we basically have a good sense of which candidates are good and what ballot measures are bad, what ballot measures are good. Get your information and get your vote in 72 hours. Okay, so that means that you're voting by Monday the 7th or the 8th, okay? Now what I want you to do, and you can mail it in. And you say, well, Carl, I don't trust my postal clerk. They may rip up my ballot. They know I'm a Republican. They see the mail from the NRA and the Republican Party in my box. I'm gonna show you how you can hold that postal clerk accountable. And again, I don't think postal clerks are doing anything bad. But anyway, so you vote on the 7th or the 8th by mail. You can mail it in. It's okay. I'll tell you how you can verify that the postal service worked for you. Or if you must, you can always walk it into one of the drop box locations. Oh my God, someone might steal it from the postal box or the drop box. I'm going to show you how you can verify it. Okay? Trust but verify. Ronald Reagan said so. So the 7th and the 8th, you vote by dropping it off at the drop boxes, which again, there should be a list on the website for your registrar of voters in your county or in your ballot book that you get from your county. Or we will give you a list of Dropbox locations on our website. The website. So what are you going to do on day 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? Now, these 5 days, you're going to track your ballot. You're going to track your ballot. Well, Carl, how do I track my ballot? Well, I've put together the website that has direct access to the state of California election database. Do you know that you can look up whether your ballot was received and counted? Yes, within literally 24, 48 hours of you mailing it, it will probably show that it was received and then a couple hours later counted. Where do you go? Go to the website trackmyballot.org. That's trackmyballot.org. Now, at this website, it's one-stop shopping. You can get the voter guide from Reform California by clicking the top bar, voter guide. See that? Trackmyballot.org. So easy peasy. Who do I vote for? Well, I'll look at the voter guide, plain English. You can register to vote on this website. Easy peasy. I go directly to the voter registration. So if you have a son or a daughter who hasn't registered to vote, boom, go to Track My Ballot, get them registered. Find your polling center. Where am I supposed to go? You go to this link, find my polling center. And finally, Track My Ballot. You click on this, Track My Ballot, that button right below my photo, Track My Ballot. It takes you directly to the state of California ballot tracks. This is a state government database that covers every county. You put in your first name, your last name, date of birth, and your zip code. Confirm that you're not a robot like Kamala Harris, and you're able to check the status of your ballot. You see how simple that is? Now, let me go back to this handy dandy calendar. You voted on the 7th or the 8th. Dropped it in the mail. The mail treats ballots as first class, so it should arrive by the 9th, the 10th, or the 11th, right? At the latest, it should be processed by the 10th or the 11th or the 12th or the 14th. If by the 15th or the 16th, when you go to Track My Ballot, it doesn't show that your ballot was received and counted, then what I want you to do, look at this. You got 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You have 3 weeks to fix your problem. How do you fix your problem? You go back to find a polling center. And you walk into one of the open polling centers that is staffed, and you let them know, I tracked my ballot after returning it all the way back on the first week. It was not received and counted. And your ballot should be counted literally within 72 hours of you mailing it. But give them a few more days after that. If it still isn't received and counted, go in and get a provisional ballot. Do you know that in every election, you're entitled to 2 ballots? If you're a dead person in California, you get 4 ballots. But no, if you still have a pulse, you're entitled in every election to 2 ballots. Your original ballot you receive by mail and something called a provisional ballot. People can go in and ask for a provisional ballot for any reason. You don't even need a reason. You just say, I would like a provisional ballot. And they'll say, well, didn't you get your absentee? Yeah, and I voted, but it didn't track it and it didn't show that it was counted. Oh, don't worry, hon, it'll get counted. No. They can't tell you that. You don't have to trust their representation. You can just say, I know that you probably are going to count it, but just so that I have an insurance policy and that I can sleep well at night for the next 3 weeks, and I know that my ballot is going to get counted one way or another, give me my provisional ballot. Now, if they don't give you a provisional ballot, call my office and we will file a lawsuit against that county. We will make sure that they are following the law. It's not going to take that. They have to give you a provisional ballot. And you can vote a second time. Now, only one of your ballots will be counted because if they find your original ballot, they count it. They then discard your provisional ballot. Your provisional ballot will be counted at the end of the process, but you can continue to track your ballot for the next several weeks. If they count your provisional ballot, then they will discard your absentee ballot when it comes through. Whichever ballot they count first will be verified and counted. The other ballot will be discarded. This is so important that you vote early because if we have long lines on election day, we screw ourselves. Also, another reason for you to vote early, it gives you peace. What do I mean by it gives you peace? Not just peace of mind that you were counted, but you know that campaigns take your name off the robodial list, the text message list, the mailing list, the call list, the knock list. Oh yeah, you get peace and quiet. Campaigns won't pester you anymore because good campaigns save money by taking voters who already voted off their list. If you support the good candidates in your area, help them save some money, vote early. Because otherwise they're just going to continue to waste their money on you trying to encourage you to vote when you should have voted in the first 72 hours. Look, I know that this may seem counterintuitive, but President Donald Trump endorses this plan for how to vote. Another resource I want to give you is at Election Integrity CA, electionintegrityca.com. That's electionintegrityca.com. The Transparency Foundation Secure the Vote Initiative has a way of describing this whole process called the SAFE vote. Send, audit, fix, examine. It's the safe way to vote. There's a little video that is put together on how you can vote safe, vote early. And of course, there's a link to the report that I just talked about on this website. I also want to encourage you to report any problems to them. They have an election integrity help desk to help you resolve any problems. Go to problemballots.com, and they will help you with any problems that you're encountering to make sure your vote is done properly. Look, vote early and educate your friends and your family members to vote early. Share this video, like this video, subscribe to this channel so you get updates, and encourage all of your friends and family to vote early. Help us get the word out by chipping in a contribution at reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, vote early. We will keep you updated as the campaign progresses. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.